watching the governor orchestrate legal action against contractors in the bridge debacle, the Attorney General comes forward to remind us that he's in charge.
He says he's working with the outside counsel hired by the governor's office, and we could see action toward accountability soon. Gabrielle Caracciolo is live in studio after speaking with him this afternoon. Gabrielle?
That lawsuit could be filed as soon as tomorrow or Monday. Monday is the day those outside lawyers said they would file a lawsuit by, but the Attorney General tells me that is his final decision to make.
I'm still reviewing things myself.
With a lawsuit looming, Attorney General Peter Neronha has taken over the legal investigation into what went wrong with the Washington Bridge. He offered to help investigate the failure months ago, but Governor McKee hired outside counsel instead.
The Attorney General has to control all litigation brought on behalf of the people of the state.
Do you think you should have been involved in this sooner?
Well, look, I don't think that there's any downside to being involved sooner, but there hasn't been, and there won't be, an ill effect from that.
Was it even necessary to hire outside counsel?
Yeah, I think, look, we've hired outside counsel ourselves for certain kinds of litigation that we've brought.
Has this had any impact on how quickly we're able to bring forth litigation?
No, not at all. Even after a complaint would be filed, there will still be a time where that case will begin to shape itself. But that tends to happen over months and not days.
The governor had referenced several months ago a day of reckoning.
I'm not quite sure what the governor meant by that. The filing of a complaint, if there is a complaint filed, will obviously, I think, be the beginning of the state seeking to hold people responsible for leading us to a point where we had to close a bridge at really a moment's notice. And that's obviously not the way infrastructure issues should be handled. And of course, it's had a significant impact on the residents of Rhode Island, including local businesses that have really been hurt by this.
Now, I did ask if the lawsuit would be filed in state or federal court and if it centers around one person, one company, or if there's multiple people or companies involved, but he would not budge. He said he can't answer those questions until a complaint is filed in the coming days. In studio, Gabrielle Caracciolo, NBC 10 News.